Welcome back, everybody. This is another episode of the Orange Bumper Podcast. We've got a really, really cool guest today. I'm pretty excited. There's three of us sitting at the table, and only one of us can say that we're in a Hall of Fame. I did my research. Yeah,
oh my God, you really did your
I
research.
know. So, what is your exact title, Joey? Just so I get it right.
Managing Director of NASCAR Regional.
See, I've never gotten that right. But this is Joey Dennewitz, and he is, for all intents and purposes,
you're over all local or all short tracks. Is that how that?
The easiest way to describe it is everything underneath the truck series for NASCAR reports to me, and I report to a guy named Ben Kennedy. That's about,
all right, so
that's about the easiest way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crystal clear.
Yeah.
All right.
So before we get into Joey and all things short track, let's recap just a little bit. North Wilkesboro.
Do we have to?
Well, I feel like we have this conversation every week.
Gosh, dog it, man. We tested there a couple Wednesdays ago, and by our stopwatches, I think I was the fastest car there. And on long run speed, the car was great. We go to Tri-County, we should have won. And then we come back, and the car didn't drive bad. It just didn't make any speed. And we kept working on it and kept doing things. And we thought we had good long run speed, but we just couldn't put up a big number.
Did you try pressing the gas pedal down
Yeah,
harder?
I tried. I tried.
Okay.
Trust me, I tried. I was pulling all the tricks in the seat, changing my line, trying to do different things, following cars to see maybe, if it was a car that was high on the board, trying to learn something, to try to figure out what in the world's going on, because we just couldn't make any speed. And I qualified 12th. We tried a different pit strategy. We short pitted to try to leapfrog whenever everybody else pit, and ended up the 39 car got loose off of 2 and busted his butt and collected us and ended our day. But it sucked. It was not. It was just.
We didn't catch it on flow.
Yeah, you couldn't.
So nobody
see
knew.
It. So what happened is,
I saw you miss it, but then after that,
it was Lapovich. He was up ahead of me, and he came off and he went like this. And as he starts to go, I'm already committed to going because he's in a slow slide, and as I'm coming down, it just went like that. And that much more, I'd have cleared it. And when he hit me, the car went like that and shot me right into the inside wall. Oh. Knocked the whole left front off of it. So, yeah, it ended our day. And you don't hit easy at Wilkesboro.
No.
It's not like bouncing off the guardrail at the stadium.
Right.
But it just, a bad day turned worse. Slate blew a motor on Friday, got in the backup car, and then got in the wall on Saturday. So we basically tore up everything we had. So not a good day.
The racing, I thought, was
racing
really good.
At Wilkesboro was awesome. Yeah.
All 3 races I thought were good. Great crowd there.
Yeah.
If I had known there would be that many motors that were going to be blown, I would have invested in whoever the Speedy Dry Company was.
Yeah, right.
That was something.
Yeah,
but
Slate's deal. That motor had a whole season on it. Yeah. And when the last 2 races of the year were Tri-County and North Wilkesboro, and those motors, let's be honest, the parts are probably not as good as like what you have in a built motor. And then when you go to tracks like Tri-County and North Wilkesboro that you're in the throttle for a long time and you're turning 78, 7,900, it's asking a lot. And get down to the end of the year, I think Slate's motor just was tired. But it was.
We popped a lot of them for the modified tour.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
We were under yellow for a long time.
Yeah. And it's what somebody said something about how long it took and everything. I said, well, in their defense, you got to think about when you're at a 5/8 mile track and you have a blown motor.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get it cleaned up. And the truck would come by and he'd leave a strip of Speedy Dry and then have to drive all the way back around to leave another strip to drive all the way back around to sweep it. And it took a while. But yeah, it was not the day we wanted.
No, but anytime you go to North Wilkesboro, you know it's going to be a show.
Yeah.
And I thought all 3 races were great. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the pros race. Keelan Harvick was freaking
him and Luke were. It was we're getting everything situated and trying to get done, and when Slate blew up, we had to put a 4, make the 1 a 4, and we makeshift 4. So by the time it got down to about 15 or 20 to goes, whenever they started running side by side, well then we're in the pits, so we're watching the gaps. And they're still side by side. They're still side by side. So
they put on a great race.
It was. Listen, here's I'm gonna tell you something. So I would don't get me wrong. I'll go ahead and tell you now. I'd love to drive that 62 car one time, right?
I bet.
But at the same time, for him to be able to do what he's doing, Keelan, at the age he is,
and Luke
And Luke,
it's not like he was
but Luke's
racing
not
nobody.
12, man.
No, I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying with him racing Luke. Luke's good.
Yes,
Luke is really good.
They're both going to have bright futures. In NASCAR,
absolutely.
absolutely. But to see what he's doing at 12 years old is pretty cool, man.
He does a good interview too. He's
been groomed well. That's for sure.
I was going to say I hate using the word groomed, but whoever they are working with on a PR side does a good job.
Yeah.
And you know, Brexton Bush is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yes sir, no sir, please and thank you. You know that they look you in the eye.
Hard to find out in these kids nowadays.
It is.
They know everything.
It is. But that was it was a good weekend. I thought you know, Cars Tour, and I thought Smart put on a good show. You know, I hate those last race of the year. You might not.
After the way it ended, I'm glad we get to take a break.
How long will that last until you're itching to get back in a car again?
So I get lost in the work. So yesterday I tore the whole left front off the car, started pulling Slate's motor out. So I kind of get lost in the work. It won't be long. I'll be ready to get back in. But this time of year with banquets coming up, because we're going, you know, it's in Phoenix this year. So I'm assuming I'll see you out there. I actually got tickets we're going to be in the pits at the race too. So I've never been to Phoenix. That'd be cool. Yeah. But anyway, we get lost in banquets and in holidays and all that stuff. And the next thing you know, you blink and it's time to get back in again. So there's not much for off season anymore. But speaking of Harvick, I wanted to tell everybody they invited me to be on Happy Hour with Harvick next Monday. That'll be cool. Yeah, get to sit down with Kevin and talk racing. But I think he said it will be on. It should come out Thursday, next Thursday. And then it'll be on FS1 later, I think. So, yeah, that'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. We need to get Kevin and Keelan on here.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. That'd be fun, especially with them going back and forth. Because I think Keelan ended up with what do they call it, the Harvick Cup or whatever. He ended up winning that. Good for him. Well, turning our attention to Joey. So I could probably do a bio on you, but it would probably be better for you to do the bio. I do know that you are well regarded as a go-kart racer. As a matter of fact, some of the people I talked to said that you were not afraid to use the front end of the cart. They said aggressive would be pretty accurate when you were behind the wheel. Is that fair to say?
That might be a little bit hyperbolic. I don't know that I was that aggressive. I just like to win. I mean, and sometimes you end up with a front bumper that looks like that. You know,
one equates to the other.
Right?
Yeah,
one equates to the other.
Yeah, I liked winning. Yeah, I started racing go-karts when I was 10. I was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, and my local short track was called Barberton Speedway. And I remember being, 8, 9 years old, and I'm standing there with my hands on the chain link fence, looking at the pits, and I'm like, man, if I can just get on the other side of this fence, I will have made it in life. That's all I ever cared for. And for an ADD kid like me, like race cars and racing was the only thing that kept me busy. So my family kept feeding that fire, and I was very, very fortunate. My grandfather saw that, and just like you with Slade and your daddy with you, it's like you see that little spark, you pour some gasoline on it, and then you just take it for as long as you can.
Then you got a bonfire.
Yeah, that's right.
That you can't put out.
Yeah. Kind of like a spinning top. You just wind it up and watch it go.
That's right. That's right.
So I guess that kind of started you down a path towards where you are now. But between then and now, you worked at Spire for quite a while, had good relationships there, and of course, obviously, I'm sure you networked, and at some point, NASCAR came calling, and what a cool chain of events. But what did you do for Spire exactly? Was it a PR role, or were you kind of a jack of all trades?
I was employee number 3 at Spire. I worked for a guy named Jeff Dickerson when he was at MMI, and he and I just hit it off really well and finished each other's sentences early on. And I knew kind of the way he wanted to do things, and I tried to make that happen for him as much as I could. And I'll be honest with you, that was pretty much my job for the next close to 15 years, really. And he got us drug into all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, I'll never forget, it was Christmas Eve. He called, he said, we're going to buy a hockey team. And I'm like, what do we know about hockey? Like, we're racers. He grew up racing in Indiana. I grew up racing in Ohio. Like, I don't know anything about hockey. He's like, we'll figure it out. And over time, it started off as a driver representation agency. I always say it was Redneck Jerry Maguire. If
I love that.
If Ari Gold from Entourage, if Ari Gold ran an agency out of Animal House, that's what Spire was. The beginning of it. It was awesome. It was so fun. It was total startup vibes. Chaos. I had Nerf guns and remote control helicopters in the office, and we worked our asses off to just try to be in business. We were in the business of being in business between Jeff Dickerson, TJ Pusher, a guy named Chris Newman, and then we added cast from there. And over time, the agency grew where we were representing more than drivers. We were representing sponsors and then teams, and then we were making all this money for everybody else and spending all this money for everybody else until finally Chip Ganassi told Jeff, like, it's time to go own your own stuff. You need to get your own properties. So then within like 6 months, we bought a hockey team from the ECHL in Rapid City, South Dakota. Never been there before. That was fun. And then a NASCAR Cup Series charter, the 78. That was the first charter that we purchased. And then a promotions company that put on short track races all around the country. We bought into Track Enterprises with Bob Sargent. So then it became, all right, well, we're not just in the business of being in business. We're in the business of all these things. Yeah. And it was really, really fun. And through that, then I promoted a truck series race at Knoxville Raceway and got to know the NASCAR corporate guys a little bit more. And to your point, like, they've seen I was promoting races, I was representing drivers, and then when we were, I was general manager of the team when we first started it, and kind of helped start that piece of it. They were like, "When are you going to come work here?" And I blew them off for years. Steve O'Donnell was on me for years, and I was like, "I'm not coming to work."
Well,
there.
that was my next question. Like, how does that happen? Because when NASCAR calls, to me, that's kind of like when the government calls and says, "Hey, you want to work for
when
the
the
CIA?"
fire department down the street, the fire department down the street wants a donation.
Yeah,
You're kind of like, well, if I say no, my cow set's on fire. They're like, oh, yeah, that's the guy. Well, let's drink another cup of coffee before we go put his house, put the fire out.
So what's the catalyst that kind of makes you say, "Oh, I'm ready for a change"? Why not?
Well, I mean, after 15 years of it, and doing all those different things, it was a bit of let's fly the coop. I mean, I grew up there. I mean, these were my brothers. This is my family, and just like your family, you kind of lose your voice after a little while, and you get tired of them because they're being annoying, and you love them, like you love them dearly, right? But you're like, maybe I should go see if I can do this somewhere else. And that was the first thought of like, all right, what do you really want me to come do over there? And that's when Ben Kennedy and Steve came to me with this job. And I mean, it's something I'm super passionate about. It's something I grew up doing. When you start yelling at me about whatever you're yelling at me about that week, like, yeah, man, I've been there. I've yelled at that guy too. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever yelled at you.
Not yelled. I shouldn't say yell.
Speaks with confidence.
Loudly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I respect it because I remember being that person. And that's why I try to add, a little bit more color. So when you call me and you ask me about things like, I can see it from that side, but I want you to see it from this side, and this side too.
And I appreciate that on my end. Mm-hmm. It works well.
Well, there's got to be an open line of communication for both sides to respect what the other does, but more importantly, be able to find common ground when you have to.
That's right.
So a day in the life of Joey Dennewitz.
Well, today I come do this podcast with you guys. When I leave here, I've got the Tim Brown podcast, so we'll go do that.
I knew he couldn't stand it. I'm
just kidding. No. I got some meetings in Winston for the Clash. Justin Swilling, who does a fantastic job for the Clash, is up there looking at some things. So we're gonna go hang out with him for a minute. Then I'm gonna head over to Martinsville. I'm gonna head over to Greensboro. Where we have our officials dinner for our NASCAR Wheel and Modified tour. Take those guys out to a steak dinner. They work hard all year long, and I'm excited. Jimmy Wilson runs a pretty tight ship over there. We've got a schedule announcement tomorrow, so I've got some prep for that with our comms group on how we're going to announce our schedule for the Wheel and Modified tour. And then tomorrow we'll go to Martinsville. We got the finale for the season. We've 14 points, which is crazy. I mean, everybody wants to talk about this points format or that points format. The modified tour specifically has been super close in the last couple of years.
It has.
So we've got Austin Beers going in with a 14-point lead over Justin Bonsignor. Austin is like super fast. I say he's too nice. Like he's just too nice. He doesn't really elbow
he's
up.
a good kid. Yeah.
He's just a good, like
Good
nice
kid.
kid. And you can see it on the racetrack. Like Bonsignor will just feed him a right rear, no problem. He's got no issue doing it. Right. Austin will like give him room and kind of scoot him on the bottom. So I'm actually very excited about that. That's going to be a good little battle.
That'll be a good opening race going into a big weekend for all things NASCAR. With all the different places you go and all the different people you work with, what's your favorite track to be at?
Besides the stadium,
So is Bowman Gray number one?
Listen,
And that's not a loaded question.
No.
It's not. That's fine.
Well, it's hard because I don't have kids, but I'd imagine it's like your kids. You have favorites, but you can't say it.
Right.
But they're all favorites for different reasons, right? They all have their. That's the beauty of what I get to do. Like I get to go to Vegas 2 weeks ago, and on the bull ring across the street on Friday night with the ARCA Menard Series West, and see some incredible racing. And then the next day, like you're watching Xfinity cars at Las Vegas on the big track. And then, I mean, I've been 63 events this year alone. And it's everywhere from White Mountain, New Hampshire to, Daytona and everywhere in between. So, that's the beauty of the job is you get to go to do all those cool things and see all the different stuff.
With all the short tracks, when do you, and maybe you don't, I don't know, when does NASCAR or you decide that it's now a NASCAR issue versus a track issue? Whether it's a discipline issue, whether it's a points.
Yeah, no, he's really interested in hearing this one, isn't he?
Great question.
Whether it's somebody challenging a points discrepancy.
If I had to put one question on your list here that came from him, this is it.
I haven't. That wasn't me. I promise. I promise.
Fair enough.
No,
I promise.
would
It
bet.
was not.
I promise
I let
you.
him do it all.
I sent him this all last night, and I said, "Is there anything else that you want me to ask?"
No.
And I'll show you the text. It says, "Looks good."
Yeah, I bet. No, I've explained this many times to many different people because I guess it can be confusing, and we don't do a good enough job probably lining this up. But the tracks basically run their own shows, and they can pull from basically like a franchise model. They can pull from the NASCAR rule book all of the rules, some of the rules, etc. But you'll notice in that NASCAR rule book that track rules supersede all NASCAR rules. So NASCAR usually gets involved more on the behavioral penalty side, which is way more annoying for me and takes up way too much time out of my day. And that's to basically protect the brand and the competitors. Our first job, no matter what, our first job at NASCAR is to keep everybody safe. Right, that's what we're trying to accomplish. We can talk about fair and balanced playing fields, and we can talk about business models. We can talk about all this stuff. But the very first priority is to keep everybody safe. And when there's, like I said, behavioral penalties and things like that, that's what we got to do. We got to keep everybody safe, and that's where usually we get involved.
If you ever need anybody for an appeals panel, I would love to be on an appeals panel. I mean, I would. Like, seriously.
It's fascinating.
I would like to do it.
Yeah,
just because I've, been around mediation and
well, we don't like to issue penalties. I think that's something that's a bit of a misconception. Those guys are trying to like to issue penalties. Like, no, I'd want a very smooth Monday through Friday, and I think that's another thing that people don't realize. Like, we're all race fans. Like, we all want a good show. Like, you guys hire us to keep it fair, balanced, and safe. But other than that, like we just want a good show. We're at the very core, everybody that involved on the regional side, and I would say even in the national side, they're just race fans at the end of the day.
Well, and to your point about, you don't like to issue penalties. I kind of look at it like when I was in law enforcement, and I would tell my guys, it's not about writing tickets. It's about changing behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get hung up on the writing the tickets. get hung up on changing behavior.
Well, this is why when Bert calls me, has a problem with something, I have no problem spending the time to explain to him why the rule exists and what that rule does. And if we need to change it, take a look at that rule and change it, we can do that. I have an open mind to that. But here's where everyone's coming from, because NASCAR sits at the center of the whole community. It's not just race car drivers, right? You guys show up, you have one boss. That's you, right? We have competitors, and we have track operators, and we have sponsors, and we have broadcast partners. We have all these different stakeholders that we kind of sit at the center of, and rarely are all of those motivations aligned.
Right.
Rarely, if ever.
Yes.
My perception is, and this is in all honesty, is that NASCAR kind of has the attitude of don't make us get involved. Is that fair?
100%.
We won't get involved unless you make us get involved.
That's correct.
So the best one is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, was when I called Joey and he goes, all right, wait a minute. Is this Bert and Joey or is this NASCAR and driver talking? And I'm like, well, all right,
But
fair
you have to
enough.
have- but
You
you have
asked for advice.
I asked for advice. Whenever I call Joey and I ask for advice, and that's fair. That's fair. He says, is this Bert and Joey or is this, and I might get both answers. Give me the Bert and Joey answer and then give me the
The guys I would
Official
supervise,
answer.
I'd give them the organizational answer, and then I would give them my personal
your
advice.
advice, right?
And
And
That's all you can do is
Yeah.
provide the best
usually-
information.
Usually my personal advice is don't make me get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
You see the rule, or you know how this is go. Don't make me get involved.
What'd you do this time?
And at the end of the day, and we would say this on the highway patrol all the time, the needs of the highway patrol always come first. Same thing with what you're doing. The needs of NASCAR is always going to come first.
The community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's another thing that's a misconception too. NASCAR is used as an adjective from many different things. NASCAR, the business of NASCAR, like NASCAR, the community of NASCAR, like NASCAR, the fans, like, again, those are all kind of different. So we did, I don't even want to know how much money we spent on this brand survey, where we hired this really slick brand agency that's done all this great work. That they did this deep dive on, like, what is NASCAR? What is the brand of NASCAR? And they came back with, like, community. The word is community.
I think that's accurate, though. I don't think they're wrong.
Not only is
Right.
that not wrong, it's 1,000% correct.
Yeah.
And it's the whole reason we all do this anyway. All of us, right? We all want to go back to the racetrack. I just asked you earlier, like, how long until
Yeah, right.
you're like, I really need to get this motor back in because I want to get back to the
Yeah.
racetrack. Like,
Yeah.
because that's where your friends are. That's where your foes are. Your foes turn into your friends. Your friends turn into your foes. Like, it is a beautiful cross section of Americana. And that's why we're all involved in it.
I need to go into who's that company? I might need to put in an application whenever Tommy fires me. My job's on the line every day.
It's funny. Every brand survey that I've done on all these different things that we've done, it always comes back to, like, oh yeah, duh. Like,
Yeah.
Of course.
It's because we all overthink everything.
That's right.
I mean, it's
And that's where they earn their money. They earn their money telling you the obvious.
yeah, keep it simple, stupid. That's his method. So with the clash and everything, watching that just from a very withdrawn perspective, I cannot imagine the logistical, I don't want to say nightmares, I'm sure there were some, but the logistical challenges you all had getting that show done. And I've said it on here before, like, I like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, the end product's great and everything, but we all knew it was going to be great.
You want to hear the full story? You want to hear from the very beginning?
Well, time was standing. Yeah, I do. Like,
I'll keep it short.
I want to know how it came to fruition, like where the first idea came from. When you had that oh shit moment, I've got to do this now. How are we going to do it? And then obviously we don't get anything done without a great team of support staff. So yeah, from the beginning.
My first project when I came to work at NASCAR, even before I had a NASCAR email address, like a week before that, Ben Kennedy said, hey, can you drive up to Winston-Salem with me in 2 days and have this meeting? And I said, sure. And it was the acquisition of Winston-Salem Speedway Incorporated.
Gotcha.
From the Pinillas family. And I he gave me the brief on the way up there. Like I had no reference of it. He's like, "You've done acquisitions, right?" And I'm like, yeah,
I'm
kind
getting ready to.
I've been to some business lunches.
yeah. I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Right.
So we go up there and we meet with the family and we start working on this thing. And it was very apparent very early. This is very important to Ben, and it was very important to Mr. France, and it was very important to the France family that this comes home.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, this is a hell of a first project here,
Right.
So worked on that and worked with Gray and the family for over a year. I got a funny story for you on that one. I would secret shop the place. And it was pretty easy because, if you're the NASCAR guy, you just pop it into your weekly track or whatever.
Right. You're expected to be there kind of.
Kind of, yeah. So, the first driver I met at Bowman Gray Stadium was Burt Myers. I mean, the legendary Burt Myers.
Yeah, woo.
And my good friend Kevin Hughes from Racing Electronics introduced us and was very proud to walk me around and introduced me to a lot of competitors that night. It was a lot of fun. But even Kevin didn't know that that's what I was up there to do, is see how it operates, what the opportunity was and what we needed to do to make this happen for the France family. Well, and one of the things that I mentioned to Mr. Helton when I was doing this was like, oh yeah, I go up there every once in a while. He's like, oh, you should swing by Pulliam's. I'm like, all right. So I go rolling into Pulliam's and I meet Mark. Well, I'd do that every Saturday night that I was going up there. I'd swing by. Hey, what's going on at the stadium? What happened in practice? More like he just, he'd give me the scuttlebutt.
Right.
So we get the deal done, and I'm up there probably the next Saturday, and he's like, "Hey, who are you with? You with the driver or something?" I was like, "No, I just hang out. I was up there chilling." He's
I'm
like,
a Dario.
yeah. he's like, you're not with anybody? I'm like, no, I like to go watch races. He's like, all right, cool. Who do you work for? I was like, this company out of Charlotte. He's like, all right, cool.
You didn't lie, did you?
Didn't. So this guy walks in behind me. He's like, James, meet Joey. And I'm like, oh, how's it going? He's like, oh, James here. His daddy used to race at the stadium. I was like, oh, that's very cool. And then he looked at James. He said, this is Joey. He just bought the stadium for the France family, but he won't tell you that.
Oh, man.
And I was like, what?
Cash out of the bag.
I was like, you knew this whole time? He's like, yeah, I knew the whole time. So then about 45 minutes after we closed on Winston-Salem Speedway Inc., Ben Kennedy called and he goes, you think we can run the Clash at Bowman Gray? And I was like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I don't see why not.
Resources, we can do anything.
I mean, other than, it needs this and this and this and this and that and the other thing and the other thing. I'm like, let me go to work on it. So that was kind of the beginning of like, let's put this task force together. So
we are Citrusafe, where good grilling is made better. We have prided ourselves in being the industry pioneer for safe grill cleaners. Our citrus-powered grill cleaner spray paired with our nylon bristle brushes is all you need when it comes time to clean your grill. We strive to not only save you fuel, but also avoid the dangers associated with ingesting metal wire grill brushes. Citrusafe is available at major retailers nationwide from Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, Walmart, and many more. We also are available online on Amazon.com. Citrusafe, great for all grills.
An incredible group of people pulled together to make that happen because you said challenge, chaos, like I called it opportunity. Like if we can make this happen, everybody, we can make anything happen. And I think NASCAR as an organization has shown between Chicago Street Course, the LA Coliseum, now San Diego and Bowman Gray, like we could take this show anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And to do that, it takes a lot of coordination. So the first thing that we did was send our design and development team up there that has built all of those facilities and is in charge of all of our other facilities with our competition folks to say like, what does the competition folks need? What are they looking at? And I'll be honest with you, for the better part of a year or so, I was fighting almost everybody. I shouldn't say fighting. I was passionately standing up for the tradition of the place because it would have been easy to just NASCARize it in that regard. We're going to paint the walls white and we're going to do this and we're going to do that.
That's one of the questions when me and you walked the track that day. I said, what color the wall's going to be? They're going to be red and white. That's okay.
That's a perfect example. And it was like, I need this updated for the Clash, but I don't want to mess up what we have. Right. So another example is like, you could have squared the walls all off and made it nice and perfect and symmetrical and all that, but that ain't Bowman Gray.
No, it's not.
When you look down turn one and you see the wall scallop in and out, like that's important. That gives that track character. And I don't want to take away from that, because my first charge was to go get the thing. And my second charge was not to mess it up. And it was put to me a little more forcefully than that.
Right.
So that being said, like that was a good amount of discussion was made on that to make sure that detail work was done, so that we didn't take away from the character. That wall is in the exact same place as the other wall was. It's just maybe 2 inches further into the racetrack on the parts that it gets in, because that's as and
the
we
logistics of the wall.
Yeah, and we had University of Nebraska come out and tell us how they wanted us to do it, and it was, again, hey, we want this as minimal as possible intrusion.
I'll tell you a quick story about, because it falls right into that. Kyle Busch texted me and said, hey, we're coming over in the morning with RCR. I think I might have told you this, but anyway, hey, walk the track with us. All right, so we're walking down. We go through turn 1 and 2, and we're looking at the backstretch, and it's like this. And he says, we got to talk to the engineers. This has got to be fixed. And him and RC and a couple of them, Randall was there, and he's like, we got to do something about this. I said, guys, I'm going to tell you something. No offense, but what you see right here is what you're going to see when you come back for this race. That's it. See how that sticks out, the concrete? So no disrespect, but get used to what you're looking at. So.
I got it. Again, fight isn't the right word for it, but being passionate and standing up for and hearing all sides of it, but trying to explain and convey why it was important was a lot of that year for myself and Justin Swilling on that thing, because the character of that place is what makes it special. Yeah. And yeah, I got that phone call. Hey, Kyle Busch says we need to change this. And I said, yeah, cool. Sounds great. Have Kyle Busch show up February 1st. Yeah. And to your point, he's going to see the same thing he's looking at right now.
Yeah. Duly noted. I think y'all did a phenomenal job for somebody that's been going there for 40 plus years. It looked like there had been minimal changes, but that's just what it looked like. There were actually a lot of changes that people really didn't see. Painting the soft walls that you got,
they're not so soft,
that you got intimate with there, unfortunately. Red and white was a great thing. And it wasn't NASCAR-ized, like you said. And for the diehard, not just Bowman Gray, but there's a lot of people that have passed through that place that have, a lot of, feelings about it. It's a bucket list place for a lot of people. And I think if y'all would have come in and just overhauled the whole place and just made it just marketing, overkill marketing and all that stuff, it would have been a great disservice. I think the way y'all did it was very tasteful.
I appreciate that.
Very tasteful.
That was the goal. I mean, the goal is, hey, how can we use the Clash, the national platform, 3.5 million people watching on Fox on a Sunday in February? How can we do the service to their place, and how can we shine a national spotlight on short track racing? And that was the goal. And as we started going through the process of like, well, where do we take the Clash in 2025? And Bowman Gray kept coming up, and well, can we or can't we or should or shouldn't we? I just kept going back to like, you guys want to shine a spotlight on short track racing? This is the best way to do it.
Yeah,
this is it. And what it did for weeks after that, and even months after that, and I'm still reeling with it, is, well, if we ran it at Bowman Gray, could we run the All-Star race at
Wall Stadium?
Insert short track here, right? Yeah. And it got all that back kind of going again. And I believe that short track racing is a bit of a renaissance right now. Like, we're having some really good success, and people are having fun and showing it. That goes to my other part of my job, which is knocking down those barriers of entry, right? Like, how do I get involved in this? And I think, certainly it takes sponsorship and money and things like that, but it also takes just knowledge, right? Just
you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And that's, which clearly y'all did at the stadium. I remember thinking, where in the hell are they going to put all those damn haulers?
I remember thinking that too.
And then I'm sitting there thinking, well, of course they've got credentials trailers and they've got
you think about
trailers,
everything that went into it. A lot of people don't know this, but they had Tech Day at Charlotte, and then they sealed the doors on the haulers, so that they didn't have to go through all that the next day. But just that stuff, that little, we can say little stuff, it's major stuff, but it looks like little stuff. Those thousands of little things that have to come together.
But what I saw with that is and this is what's great about Bryson Industries and Citrusafe, is you can get a bunch of people together and just throw ideas out there, and all of the ideas are received with equal importance because everybody's working, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody's working towards the same goal. And one of the things Tommy talks about all the time is the greatest things get done when nobody cares about who gets credit for it.
Yeah.
And when you can put all those outside the box ideas out there and just grab and be like, I had never thought about that. Yeah, let's do that. Sounds great. Let's do that. There you go. Yeah, that'll work too. Things start to come together.
I think it goes back to what I said about race fans work at NASCAR. When we went to these different departments and you had race fans in those departments and you said, what do you think about Cup cars at Bowman Gray? They're like, oh, that'd be awesome. How do we do that? Right? To your point, let's rally around this. I think Justin Swilling did a nice job of setting the tone with the race teams and the drivers and the rest of the industry to say like, hey, it's Bowman Gray. If you've never been there before, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
If you've never been there before, let
Right.
me explain something to you. We're going to put 10 pounds of Citrusafe in a 5-pound bucket, and we are going to have fun. We're all going to be on top of each other. There's not a whole lot of space, but if you lean into this, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I have not left a Cup Series race other than maybe a Daytona 500 thinking to myself, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody had fun.
Yeah.
All of those competitors had fun. Usually at least one guy that's upset, right? Even the guy that finished Blaney came from the back all the way up to second or third or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So that felt really good. And I give all the credit to all these people that pulled together to do that, because to your point, it takes so much. The broadcast guys, I mean, they're used to going to the same places over and over and over again. When you go to a new place, it's like, we're going to drop millions of dollars in fiber optic cable to make sure that we can put this thing on Fox. To your point, like we put a lot of money into that place that like you won't see, right?
Yeah.
And even if I could point it out to you and you wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
And the broadcast people had the best time ever. They were like, wow, this is different. I don't know how we're going to do this, but let's figure it out, right? And that open-mindedness across the whole company on our side and the whole industry was what made that event special and what will continue.
But if you don't want, if you go to the same type venues all the time and it's just Groundhog Day over and over and over, that's not fun. I mean, you got to be challenged. You got to say, I know we can do this. I don't know how the hell we're going to do it, but I know we can do this. And I personally have enjoyed the lights, this year, and the stadium. They loved hitting the switch and making them do all the stuff.
Right.
I thought that was great. I'm glad I hadn't been drinking when I was there with all that. But at the Clash, because Bert had an early exit, I went up in the stands and just as a spectator. And I was there with my youngest son. I was just sitting there, and even though it was colder than 30 hells, it was the same thing as the middle of a summer night. There's fans standing up. I mean, one finger salutes. I mean, there's all the memorabilia, like Cup memorabilia mixed in with local short track memorabilia. And people are just having a blast. I mean, the lighting was awesome. And the racing was pretty good. And just from some of the drivers I talked to and Bert talked to leading up, I don't think they thought that the racing was going to be that good.
I was very skeptical of the racing's going to be terrible. I said, everything leading up to all this, what you guys did, but the racing's going to be bad. The track was green. These cars are big. They're heavy. You can't pass. And, dude, they were running side by side. I saw Denny make a pass from the outside. I mean, I was really surprised how good a show it was.
We have at the stadium a very informed crowd. It's a very smart crowd. They know racing. They know ball.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I likened it to going to a basketball game at Duke. Like that is a very informed crowd on what's happening there. And when you ran down someone else and decided to move them out of the way, like the crowd knew it. Like they saw you running them down, and you could hear the excitement build. And what was funny is I'm sitting in a suite with other executives, and they're like, "What's going on? What's happening?" I'm pointing it out to them, and I'm like, this is every Saturday night here, boys. You come do this 18 times in the summer. You'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot of fun.
And that was such a good storyline too, having Bert and Tim in the race. I wish they would have performed a little bit better, but I think expectations were met. Hopefully, maybe this year something different. I don't know.
I'm working on some stuff. Still need some help, but I'm working on
Did you
some
ask
stuff.
Stenhouse for any help by chance?
No, I hadn't. It's
Yeah.
funny because knowing what I know now, I would have.
Sonny D car this year.
Knowing what I know now, I would have probably played into it just a little bit more. But I saw him at Martinsville.
Oh, good.
Right, and they're like 3 stalls down from us on pit road there in practice, and I walked by him and he's looking at the screen, and I elbowed him, and I said, "What's up?" He said, "No." I said, "You had any death threats today or something like that?" And he said that as soon as I got wherever he was, somebody made a comment about it, and we've said on here before, my fans were a lot more upset about it than I was. I made a move that I was trying to get in a hole. Ricky didn't want me in the hole. That was just racing. It was just racing.
This is every Saturday night.
But the funny thing is, I've told this story on here that a lot of my buddies that in the Cup world are like, yeah, when you're trying to make a hole, it can't be Ricky Stenhouse. He's the one guy that you cannot make a hole. So I learned the hard way. But
I managed Ricky for a number of years. I love Ricky. He's a good human and a funny individual. And I saw him after the race, after the clash. And I said, you could have picked literally anybody else. Literally anybody else. You could have spoke. Well, he's trying to get. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You could have picked anybody else.
I was talking to a former 2-time Cup champion. I'll leave his name out there, but he was waiting to go out on the track for the main race, and we were sitting there talking. And he said, "Man," he said, "I just don't get it." He said, "There are 2 guys that you just don't want to get into it with on this track, and those are the goats." And I just don't know. I don't know.
It was fun. It was fun for a guy who had been at the stadium a bunch. It's fun to watch the Cup guys do the track walk, because the most intimate place that we race on the Cup Series is Bowman Gray. The fans are right up against the racetrack, and it's funny, they're doing their track walk and they're being all serious with their engineers, and they're looking at this and they're like, we're looking at that on the screen. And I got this kind of data, and I didn't let anybody scan the place. I didn't let anybody.
They didn't know there were turtles on the inside.
They didn't know there was. They didn't know there was turtles. They didn't know the turn 2 has a chunk out of it. They didn't know the turn 1 has some ripples going in. They didn't know any of this stuff, and so they're all running all this stuff down, and then the fans are 10 feet away, like, "Ricky, you suck!" And Ricky's like, "What in the heck?" Right? And then there was a little bit of a back and forth, and I'm like, "Oh, here we go. This is not going to be fun."
It's Bowman Gray.
And then Ricky started leaning into it and having some fun with it, and then it was like, "Yeah, this is what this place is, and enjoy it. That's it. Yeah."
Right.
Well,
Couple more steps. How's it going? Are you me? Yeah, I'm you from the future. Well, hold on, let me shoot this deer real quick. Yeah, that deer's gonna wind you because you didn't use your limit shield. Told you so. Anyway, I got a jet. Just remember to use your limit shield. Oh yeah, and if Mike asks you to go to Tijuana, don't go.
as a recommendation from a nobody. So I heard about y'all wanting to do a run what you brung at North Wilkesboro. Is that right?
That is the rumor.
That's the rumor, right? This is what I heard. Why not do a run what you brung at the Clash at Bowman Gray? Because if what I heard was right, there was a lot of pushback from teams not wanting to spend money to build these one-off cars and, you know, blah, 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 you know, whatever. What a good venue to try and do that. You know, I mean,
there's a lot less variables.
Right.
Like arrows, not
right.
not
because,
an issue.
Well,
Stuff like that.
And I was surprised you didn't know this. I shouldn't know it, but when they unloaded the car and not realizing how little you can adjust it at the track, you know, that would be maybe a good intermediate place to kind of mess with the run with your brung. Just throwing it out there.
You never know what we're going to do, especially at the Madhouse. And this is why, again, my favorite thing to say was like, well, that's just Bowman Gray. Like whenever it was like unexplainable internally, and you'd have, you know, corporate people that are working at spreadsheets. Like, this is Bowman Gray.
That's what we all say.
I don't know what that means. Like, you will if you go there.
Yeah.
You will.
You will if you
it's
go there.
the greatest catch-all, but it's dead on accurate.
Yep.
And you just never know.
Is there anything you can talk to us about the upcoming Clash that might be different? Or
We got a couple of things up our sleeves that I think will be fun. I mean, listen, a rousing success from most, if not all, aspects of this. Obviously, the city of Winston-Salem to work as hard as they did to make that happen for us was spectacular, and they were happy. The competitors were happy. Our sponsors were happy. Our broadcast partners were happy. Like, all of that stuff is pretty good. We have some stuff to tweak. Ingress, egress. I mean, we all know there's no place to park, right? There's things like that we have to work on. We had some busing. We could move around a little bit. But most of operationally, I think it'll be about the same. There's a couple added elements to the race that we're working on, a couple of added elements to the show that we're working on. But mostly it's like, hey, we got something good. Let's tweak a little bit here and tweak a little bit there. But like, I think this setup's pretty close. I think we're pretty much dialed in. Yeah. We just need to make sure it's going fast. We stay up on adjustments.
What about a local race like, the modifieds got showcased this past year? Are you going to do something else with the modifieds again, or a different series?
Well,
or
again,
in addition
you never really know what
I'm
we're
trying
going to do.
here, man.
I know,
I'm trying,
You're really
like,
digging. You're really digging. Yeah, I mean, again, if you look at what I said earlier and you look at the narrative, it's like, how can we shine a spotlight on short track racing? Well, I know. You run the damn modifieds before the Cup show. That's
Right.
what you do, right? And I told you then, like, hey, I need you to tell me if there's anything wrong with this place before we go racing, right? But also, like, this is your shot. And we had a sold out crowd Saturday for that, and a sold out crowd on Sunday. And I looked at Ticket Report this morning. It's trending that way again. I mean, again, it's an intimate, very tight ticket to get. Like, it's a hard ticket to buy because there's only so many seats, and we have that problem. We have a hospitality problem. Like, we have corporate partners that saw it last year. They're like, we need more tickets. They're like,
I was surprised
we ain't got them.
Right.
Like, there weren't up around the horseshoe. There weren't like the things they use at the golf tournaments. The mobile suites.
I heard
all
that was
around there.
something that they were looking at, but I noticed it didn't happen.
But to Joey's point earlier, you don't see that on Saturday nights. Now, I understand why you would bring them in, because there's, I get all that.
Okay, that's a perfect example of the first rendering I get is it looks like Iowa Speedway or golf tournaments. They got all these hospitality zones going, flying across turns, 1 and 2 on the concourse. And I'm like, hey guys, it's hot dogs and heaters.
Yeah.
It's not champagne and caviar.
Yeah.
Like, that ain't what we're doing here. And that's to a market, but also again to the history of the place. That's what this.
I would also think it would kind of drive that ticket to be more desirable, because there aren't that many, for one, and you can knock off a whole lot of bucket list items. I mean, for goodness sake, you can meet Burt Myers at Bowman Gray,
which is not as good as you think it is, but it's better than what it's advertised.
Oh, me. The cool thing about it, I think the biggest thing I see on my side of somebody that's been going there their whole life and their family grew up there, is the intimacy. Mm-hmm. And when we're signing autographs at North Wilkesboro this past weekend, and Chris Williams walked by, and there's fans lined up. There's cars tours over here, and the modifieds are here, and there's fans everywhere, and I'm signing the diecast. And Chris walked by, and I said, this kind of touches on what happens at Bowman Gray with the Clash, with the Cup Series. If there were, and logistically, I know it would be a nightmare, but if Cup could pull that off, do you know what that would do for fans?
Oh yeah.
Like, because it's nobody's fault, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but a lot of these Cup drivers seem out of reach. Mm-hmm. And if you could walk up to the and Harvick was there. Harvick was there signing autographs, and people had their Harvick memorabilia, bringing it through there for him to sign it. And Newman, and Bobby Labonte, and they're bringing their little number 18 Interstate batteries diecast through there for Bobby Labonte to sign it. Just think about if Cup drivers for an hour Sunday morning before every race sat down and do that intimacy that you're talking about. And I think you get that at Bowman Gray. Whenever you're walking around there and you say, hey, Kyle, and you're this far away from him and Kyle throws his hand up, where else can you get that? Yeah. Where else can you get that?
Yeah,
so
the first run of show had, I wanted to open the pits afterwards like we do on Saturday night. And they were like, I don't know.
Better not do that.
Let me think about how maybe we can, and we couldn't do it. But like, that was my first go around on things like that. But it's like, how can I make this as Saturday night short track as possible?
I will say this though, and I'll be the first to tell you, there was lots of things that we were being told. The fact that we were going to be parked in the mini stock pit. I'm like, what the heck? seriously, no, come on. But it worked. The fact that we were all going to have to be run out of there, we had to bring all our stuff down there behind the field house, and we got to be out of here by a certain time. And we're like, I don't know, but it worked. So I think y'all were so successful the first go round. Those little tweaks are going to be easy now.
Yeah.
Maybe after the race, you got the barrier up, where fans can't get to the driver, but they can get this close to the driver or the car, or and I think this brings me back to, I can remember when I was younger, whenever the NASCAR Well and Southern Modified Tour first came to Bowman Gray. And there was a lot of northern drivers, and there was a lot of guys who've been racing modifieds their whole lives, but had never been to Bowman Gray. And you see those guys walk out to the edge of the pit wall, and they're just like,
yeah.
And we're like, what? Yeah, but they were. And we're like, what's their problem? This was just a racetrack. And my dad told me and my brother then, he said, you don't realize how privileged we are to be a part of something like this, because we were so used to it. To us, it's just Bowman Gray. When we push the cars out for the first race of the year, fans are hollering and you waving. Oh, yeah, there's Kim. Hey, love you. All right, yep, good, okay. There's the camo crew sitting down at 1 and 2, giving fist bump. You're like, oh, yeah. We get to do that on every Saturday night. And whenever you bring somebody in that's never experienced that, it is that, that holy
It'd be the
cow,
same
are
thing
you
if-
serious? So when these Cup guys, that's what was so cool about it.
It was so fun.
For those guys who are movie stars, superstars, I'm a Cup driver, no offense, but for them to act giddy and act like a kid at Christmas, whenever they got to experience that, it made me proud to be like, hey,
It should.
now you know. And I'll tell this story, and I hope Kyle didn't get mad. It's not a bad story. That day that they did the track walk, and me and you were there, and Kyle was standing there, and you could tell Kyle was not exactly happy about the wall and just about it. And I asked him, I don't know if you remember this. I said, Kyle, what's your honest opinion? In your circle, in the Cup circle, in the Cup world, y'all think this race is a joke, don't you? What'd he say?
He said, yep, 100%.
Yep, sure do. I said, you're looking at it all wrong. Don't look at this like the Daytona 500.
It's not.
Look at it like you're coming to have a great time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just look at it. Just come have fun. Take it all in, experience, and have a good time. And then after the race, Kyle was good.
Yeah.
And they all were. And there's no way to, when people, that's one of the things, and we've talked about this on the show, whenever you see people across the country bash Bowman Gray Stadium. First question I have is, have you ever been there? Okay. You watch the YouTube videos and you see the stuff on Flow and you see the drama and it's a $30,000 demolition derby and it's a football field. Whoa. Fair enough. I can see where you could get that perception. But before you open your mouth, come sit and watch it one time. Come one time.
Some of the best racing on
And
the
people
planet.
watching.
Some of the best racing on the planet is at Bowman Gray.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Honestly, that was the first thing that was such, and I say this to everybody, the first thing that I noticed when I got to Bowman Gray the first time, when I sat down in the beer garden and cracked my Busch Light, was like, they are racing out of each other for 15th on lap 3. Like, this is side-by-side bumper tag for 15th on lap 3. And coming from the Cup side, where like the first 50 laps, everyone's just trying to dial their stuff in and get settled in and kind of do their thing or whatever, because it's such a long race. And they like, it's those moments are tough. But when you got 25, 50, 100 lap features, you ain't got time.
Right.
And you're moving somebody.
Well, and that's a formula that Bowman Gray has designed on purpose. I tell people, you look at, let's take the mini stocks, for example. They run 15 laps. AJ Sanders is a point leader. Chuck Wall's second. Chuck draws the pole. AJ draws 20th. He's got 15 laps. 15 laps.
He coming.
To try to make it up. So what's he do? Anything he has to.
That's right.
And that's the kind of stuff you're talking about. It's not just for the lead. It's the battles within the battles throughout the night. So
Great. One of my, this whole project at Bowman Gray has been such a joy for me. Has been such a great opportunity for me to get to know the France family better because of me holding this responsibility, but also to get to know more people inside this community and show how passionate they are and show how special this is. To your point, it's not just a flow racing highlight. They do a great job broadcasting our events. You should watch the full 3 hours, not just the 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But the opportunity to come here and have fun and do all of this has been amazing, with the addition of one of the best that's ever promoted races in Greg Garrison. I mean, the man has been a puppeteer of puppeteers for his whole life at the stadium.
Well,
and to be able to get to do this with him in one of the, again, the most successful short tracks in the country, where I can actually learn some things and take them to other short tracks around the country, has been a blessing that I didn't even realize until.
What was one of the first things I told you whenever NASCAR was coming in and taking over? And I said, is Greg going to stay? You got to have Greg Garrison.
He's a
gotta have
Humpy
Greg
Wheeler of
Garrison.
the short track
There's
world.
times me and Gray don't agree. There's times we don't agree. But as far as that role he plays,
Gray will be at the stadium for as long as Gray wants to be. I've said that to you before,
you told me
too.
that.
I've
You
told
told
him
me
that. I've told anybody else that, because and the way I look at it, to your point, I think a lot of people can be intimidated. Oh, here comes NASCAR. Oh, the corporate, the suits are coming in and all that. That's well earned and well deserved. However, to me, it was more about preserving what is special there, and also Gray deserves to feel like he's handed this off in a better place, and a place that it can go that he didn't want to take it to or couldn't take it to,
Right.
and didn't have time or the resources or the knowledge, and that's what's been really gratifying is, like, after the Clash, I'm like, is this what you had in mind? Right? And he was like, yep, you guys did exactly what I thought we'd do. Yep. And I was like, all right, cool. And it's been a real privilege, and I'm really honored that I got to work so closely with him.
It was funny listening when NASCAR took over, to a lot of the keyboard warriors getting on there talking about what NASCAR was going to do, specifically with Bowman Gray, and saying, "Oh, all this is going to stop, all this," and then it turns into, "Oh, you'll be paying $20 to park," and as the year progressed, I just sat back and kind of watched, and
Didn't look any different, did it?
no, it didn't. I mean, it didn't. I mean, you could tell there were some more resources available.
Sure.
But no, it really, nothing really changed. I mean,
Yeah.
we still got the best track crew in NASCAR.
My favorite, absolutely. My favorite thing about working at NASCAR is sitting in the meetings and then hearing what those meetings were about from everybody else.
Yes.
Right? Like, no, I'm in the meeting. I know what
Right.
happened, and what you're saying isn't right. Now, most of the time I'm just like, oh, wow, they're going to do that? That's crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, it's my favorite thing about working there. And you're right. We have the best track. We have it. What am I going to do? Come in here and mess it up? Like, I don't want to mess it up.
Sometimes the best form of leadership is just enabling other people and not having to change anything.
And
just
it's like,
enable people.
Gray, you got the whole R&D center 45 minutes down the street if you want it. We got dynos and CNC machines. We got all kind of.
They can scan heads down there.
They can scan. I didn't know. I heard that.
Did you hear that?
I
They
heard
can
that they
scan Ford C heads at the NASCAR
Really?
R&D Center. They sure can.
Huh.
They sure can.
We should do that more often then.
I wouldn't say
Oh,
that.
no, you don't want to do that?
Well, no. Yes, that should be done with some other people, but no, I was that.
I got them all spun out now. That's
So,
good.
as a competitive driver, all I've ever asked is tell me what the rules are.
Yep.
And stick with those rules and play by those rules. Same for everybody.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that we were. I'll be the first to. I was concerned, like, how far were we going to go, right? Perfect example. We had a new inspector on the NASCAR Well and Southern Modified Tour come in one time and decided that the way you check the booster, the guy that was doing it before was doing it wrong. We had to spend thousands of dollars and everybody had to change their carburetor. Even though we'd been doing it the same way forever. And then we got a new inspector that said, oh yeah, the other guy was right. So we had to change them all back. That's the kind of stuff I was worried about is this has been the way we've been doing it for a long, 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 long time. This carburetor or this motor or this body panel or whatever it might be, this is how we've been doing it from day one. If you're going to change it, let us know now.
Yeah.
If you're not going to change it, let us know now.
Yeah.
So that's where we were concerned if things were going to get tricky. I know there was some controversy with the tires and the motors in the sportsman division and some things that went on last year. I think that kind of falls into it. I'm not afraid to say that publicly that, in my opinion, as a racer, what should have been said was, next year, guys, this is what's going to happen. In the middle of the year.
It was said.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe it was.
It was also on the bulletin board for 2 weeks before.
I knew it was on the bulletin board. I did see it on
you
the
did see the bulletin board.
I did-
The drivers look at the bulletin
No,
board.
it was
Oh
on
my
the sign-in
God.
as we walk in. I did see it on the sign-in
Might
as
be a
we
good time
walk
for me to
in.
just slide back and let y'all talk.
But no, I mean, you know, we can go down a rabbit hole on that stuff. But that was the concern that we had is what kind of rule changes or what kind of procedures might change.
The rule book exists for 3 reasons, in my opinion. Number one, fair and balanced is certainly the one that it gets the most credit for, right? You got to keep everybody on the same page on what the expectation is. The other one I talked about earlier is safety. You got to keep everybody safe. Like we just got to do that. Like I hear it all the time about our Wheel and Modified tour. Oh, to run the modified tour, I got to put a better seat in. Let me get your mom on the phone.
Right. Yes.
Let me talk to her and tell her that you don't want to spend that money on safety because you don't want to do that, right?
Just
And
7-year-old around. Can I talk to them too?
we can't unlearn things, right? You can't unlearn safety things. And then the third thing, and this is the best one in my opinion. Safety, very important, right? Fair and balanced and all that stuff. But keep the cost down. Like, we're not trying to spend a whole bunch of money to go racing here.
Right.
Like, and to be fair, the fans don't know whether that car is worth $150,000 or $50,000, right? You put on a good show, you put on a good show. Right. So in any case, the rule book is for that reason. And again, we weren't going to come in here and be like, I know what we're going to do. We're going to run super lates here. Like, that ain't going to work.
Yeah.
That ain't going to work.
Well, I hate that you won't just be more forthcoming about what's coming with the Clash. But
I'll email it to you later. How about that?
I'll hold my breath. I'll be a color your shirt when it happens, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'd sure like to see the modifieds back again.
I would too.
I'd sure like to see the
would too.
modifieds.
I think we all do. I think we all want to see the modifieds there.
Yeah. I'm just thinking though, the way it all played out and the fact that we all had to be moved out before the Cup guys could move in, I feel like we could still park where we normally park. Now that we've kind of been through it one time and you kind of see how things played out.
You said this wasn't going to be a gotcha game. You said this wasn't going to be.
It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Hey man, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything possible.
Perfect response. Anything's
Anything's
possible.
Just do like all my supervisors have always done. Well, just send me an email with your ideas.
Oh, I get enough of those emails with Bert's ideas.
That sounds great. Just go ahead and email it to
That
me.
being said, though, I think that things did go so well the first time that you're just doing this now.
Yeah.
So that was satisfying to see. So
Well, what was the biggest hurdle of the Clash? Parking? I mean, because the competitors stuff didn't seem like it'd be that difficult. I would have thought it would be something away from the track.
If I could sum it all up into one word, it's just space. It's just real estate, right? There's not enough room for everybody to do everything that they want to do. So you're balancing. There's times that we had to make a decision. Well, we're going to give up revenue on this, but it's the right thing to do to make it comfortable for this person or that entity or this situation. So space was the biggest one, and it still rears its ugly head every Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like it's just a space issue. Past that, I think we decided to do the Clash in like July or something, and we had 8 months or 9 months to like pull all this together. And that is what I'm most proud of, is that team at NASCAR, the design and development team, the competition team, the marketing team, the sales team, the ticketing team. I mean, I was out there numbering seats with 50 of my friends that work at NASCAR. We've all volunteered an afternoon in January or whatever it was, or December, where we were out there literally putting numbers on each seat. And that was the first time that the stadium got numbered in a long time, right? So like when you say like hurdles, man, there was a ton of them. But that's what made it so gratifying and so special, is all these people came together to pull that off.
you could tell everybody was all in.
I was impressed with the little things that you wouldn't see. There was a lot of debate and discussion about where you're talking about with Kyle, where pit entrance was and where the wall kind of jutted out a little bit, which hadn't been like that before. We just had the famous tire barrel. And I was talking to an engineer that was there, and he said, everything that we design is built so that there's not head-on anything. And you were talking about safety earlier. And coming from a guy that investigated wrecks for 25 years, I was kind of standing there looking at the wall, and I was like, okay, so if worst case scenario, Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And watching them talk about, well, do we need to shave about 6 inches back? And fans never see that. I mean, the safety training that they did with the track crew, bringing a cup car up there and getting them certified on the cup stuff. What are the odds that somebody? I mean, he had the hardest wreck. I think the only wreck, but the hardest wreck at the track. But it's a whole different car.
Yeah.
And y'all have standards that the stadium might not have. And all those little things, I mean, somebody's got to put that pen and ink on paper to get that box checked to make that happen. And
and you're right. I mean, you said debate. I mean, this went on for weeks. And that's where I'm saying, like, in the short amount of time, all of those decisions had to be made at some point. And again, all of our groups did a fantastic job understanding all of that. Again, it would have been easy for design and development to just walk in and be like, oh, we're going to square the walls off. We're going to do this, this, and this. And you're like, okay, well, I got to turn a modified in there. Like, I'm cool with you guys telling me that the cup car is going to turn right into that opening just fine. I'm not worried about the cup car. I'm worried about the modified because I run cup once here every weekend or every year. I run the modifieds here 18 times, right? So then it becomes, okay, well, let's call around. Let's see what the radius is on tire. And then, the nerds lovingly, I use that term lovingly, the nerds at R&D are doing turn radius diagrams on that opening, right? And that's what was really cool to see, the muscle of NASCAR being put to use. And like, all right, we're going to go cup racing at Bowman Gray. And it wasn't just like, all right, we're just going to line them up and go race. Like, there was a ton of effort and a ton of thought put in by all these people to make that happen. And that's why it went off as successful as it did, is everybody pulled in the same direction.
it's just like racing. Resources equates to results. Yeah. And that helps.
It's been cool for people to know the behind the scenes and put a face to the madness of how it all came together.
I try to stay out of it. I mean, I really do. I try to slip through the pits, not really say much to anybody, answer some questions.
With hair like that, you're not going to slip through the pits at Bowman Gray and not be noticed, okay?
Yeah, I said that one time. I had my girlfriend with me, and somebody told me that. They were like, you're not going to walk through here like that with her, with anything, and not be noticed. But I mean, I just, that's my favorite thing about the weekly series. I just show up at racetracks. I don't tell them I'm coming. Don't have them hold me a pit pass. I go and I pay my pit pass and I do my whole thing. And my favorite thing is the first time I tried to do that. I don't remember where I was, but I went to the pit shack and I walked in. I'm like, I'll take a pit pass. She's like, do you have your NASCAR license? And I didn't want to tell them that I did, kind of, but not the one you're looking for. So, but I was really proud that they were saying that. It was a very interesting push-pull of emotions there. But for the most part, I'll just buy a grandstand ticket. I mean, I've done it at Seekonk. I've done it at Thompson. I've done it at a couple of different places. I don't tell our officials on our tours, ARCA or the mod tour. I don't tell them when I'm coming usually. I just show up and hang out with them and see what's going on. Because listen, by the time it gets to the racing, like, it's way out of my hands. I'm not going to do anything, right? It's
like
nice.
you said, you're a race fan too. You came to see a show. You came to see the race. I mean, you're on official capacity, but
if I'm getting involved, we're in trouble.
You're right.
Like, if I'm getting involved with some going down,
Joey.
Yeah. And most of the time, even then, I'm like, yeah, whatever they said.
With all the tracks you get to go to and see the rise in talent coming up, and I've always thought ARCA was a great place for a lot of your talent to. I think that's a great filter before they move up. And we were talking last week about ARCA and Daytona, and Eric Brennan was here. Are there's certain relationships that you've built with drivers, and you've just looked at them early on at a local track, and you've been like, I don't know if he's going to make it, and the next thing you know, they just freaking catapult.
I'm offended. You don't think my eye's better than that?
I think you have a business eye. Let's see what kind of talent eye you have.
Well, I think going to dirt tracks and with Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And all of those years stacked on top, you can kind of see who has it and who doesn't on that regard. I don't know that I've been surprised, I think is what your kind of question was. Like, have I ever been surprised on something? I don't know that I've ever been surprised. I don't think I've been surprised in a while on something like that. My surprise usually comes when it's the inverse. Like I think that kid's got it. And I think he's going to make it. And then I get a phone call like, hey, so-and-so team just signed him, or so-and-so sponsor is going to push him and they're shopping him around for rides next year in the Xfinity series or whatever. And that's more surprising and gratifying. I would say gratifying than surprising. That's what I like getting real surprised about. But yeah, the relationships are fun. And frankly, that's another beauty of my job at NASCAR is I get to help on all these different departments. So when our productions and our media folks want to do a show to basically follow 3 young race car drivers around, they come and ask me, who do you think? And then when I put Jesse Love up for this show, I call Jesse before we do this and I'm like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in? Yeah. Okay, good. Well, here's the deal. I'm going to put you up for it, but you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to lean into whatever emotion you're feeling. And those cameras cannot be a deterrent on that, because that's what people want. They want to see
it's gotta
you.
be genuine.
They want to see you. They don't want to see this like polished off piece of beautiful steel. They want to see this imperfection of guardrail back here, right? And he's like, all right, I'm in. Let's do it. And that's what's fun too, is because I've had to be in the hauler when Jesse was getting chewed out. And you build that relationship over time with that person. And then, now you can kind of see that come to fruition. I think he's one of our brightest stars.
Do you don't have any, you don't do ARCA, do you? I mean, is ARCA you also?
Yeah.
Okay. You said trucks and below.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Mr. Ron Drager is another like honor to work with Ron Drager on the ARCA series. He is not only a wealth of knowledge and has institutional, foundational knowledge of the sport and the business, but also he's a fantastic human being, and he's taught me a lot, and I get to help him kind of move through all of that with him. I mean, and set him up for the next level. He's in the same boat, I think, as Mr. Garrison is. Like, he deserves to feel like he's left this in a better spot. And we've been putting some people around him to help him feel that way, so he doesn't have to be the first one in the garage every day, and he doesn't have to be the last one to leave, and he can focus on the things that he loves to do, because he deserves it. I mean, he's been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. What did I miss anything?
I think so.
I know there's a lot of questions you want to ask him, but we probably
I'll wait and call him.
or send him an email.
Yeah. No, it's been fun, man. Me and Joey, we hit it off right off the bat, and it's cool to be able to be personable with each other, but also official when we need to be. So I appreciate that. So
there's a mutual respect that goes. I mean, again, I've been in your shoes, not quite. That many championships, not quite that many race wins on anything, but I've been in your shoes and I know how it feels. And I know my own family did it. I raced super late models, and I remember just saying, I don't think this is all that much fun anymore. I was finishing school, and at the time I didn't realize it, but it was burnout is what it was. You've been doing it every single weekend for 15 years. Like, you're going to feel a little burnt out. And that's why I give so much credit to people like you and many others at the stadium and all across the country where, yeah, man, like, this is hard. Like, it's not easy, especially when you broke something, you got wrecked, you got to fix it. You should have won, but you didn't. Well, yeah. And all that takes a toll on you. But I also know that, like, this is the best drug in the world. Yeah. I mean, racing is a hell of a drug. And I'm super happy that I got addicted to that one instead of the other ones.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I understand that.
That's what they say, though. The problem is there's no rehab for racing.
None. Not a single one. Not a single one. That's why you're still doing it. And that's why so many others are still doing it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate more than taking time out of your day to come up here. We know you're extremely busy, and been looking forward to this. So just, haven't known you really well, but the time I have spent around you, different racetracks, you seem like a fun guy. One I definitely like to, drink a beer or something with. So we appreciate you coming on, and our fans will appreciate this because we do have a short track. That's where our base is, and they are educated, but I don't know that they will know that your position even existed, to be honest with you. And that was why we wanted to bring you on, is because there is so much that goes on behind the scenes. And even though you might not search for the glory or the trophy of doing your job, I do think it's a story worth telling, because there's a hell of a lot of work that goes behind when you sit down and watch a race. And the story is definitely worth telling, in my opinion.
I have a photo of Justin Swilling, who is our project lead for the Clash, Matthew Brannick, who does all of the operations for the Mid-Atlantic region, which includes Martinsville, Darlington, and Bowman Gray, who knocked it out of the park. Austin Schuford, the GM there at Bowman Gray on the weekly side, and myself at 1:30 in the morning after the Clash, drinking a bourbon, smoking a cigar in the infield at Bowman Gray, because that's how I get my wins now.
Right.
Like, hey, when we pulled this thing off, we all pulled together and made this happen. Like, that's the win right now.
Yeah, man.
I think that whole, from what'd you say, June or July until February, that was a reality show right there in and of itself.
Oh yeah, right.
That should have happened.
Should be right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's we were talking about Madhouse earlier, and that would have been a hell of a good reality show.
Yeah.
But maybe this year, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
You
Well,
never know.
Yeah.
Steve
Well, I
gets-
don't know if you heard me last week. We're talking about ARCA. If anybody's listening, or if you hear of anything, I would sure love to do Daytona.
Daytona,
The
yeah.
ARCA race.
Now you tested, was it last year or the year
tested
before?
last year.
Yeah, last year was
Yeah.
was
Well,
your
this
test.
year, 25.
Yeah,
Yep,
sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
And I've always considered myself a thinker, like in racing, and I think drafting and all that stuff, that's major. And then getting to test that car, I was like, man, this would be fun. It's
pretty badass, yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
I'd
pretty
sure
badass.
like to do it. So if there's anybody that you can point me in their direction that's looking for a driver for that race, I'd love to do it.
Let me think about
I'd
that.
love to do
a,
it.
a seasoned driver with numerous championships that knows how to race, that's respectful of other racers, that's going to take care of the car.
And we can bring their brand right here to this table and promote the team and the brand to whoever it might be wants to come on board. Just
ARCA
saying.
is the beautiful threshold between short tracks and big tracks. It's the last little spot that you
Right.
sit before you're ready for the national series,
Right.
and it is so
And see,
much
that's
fun.
the coolest part for me is, even though I would enjoy doing more stuff, I know I don't have a cup career 10 years from now. So to just do a race at Daytona in the ARCA car, I would be super passionate because it would just be fun. It wouldn't be a business. It wouldn't be an audition. It'd be me just going out there trying to win the race.
I said before last year's Clash that you and Tim were the most dangerous
Yeah,
guys in the
right.
field, and that wasn't just because your driving style.
Right.
Like that was because
Right.
you had nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
These guys all got to load up and go to Daytona in 2 weeks. Like you guys could be mad at me all day long, right? And then you and Stenhouse get into it, and I'm in the tower like. I told you guys. I told you.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Anyway.
it's like he says every time I try and get something out of him, you just have to wait and see.
We got some stuff over our sleeve. We're working on everything. And I think that's if there's one message I could get across to the fans is like, we are fans too.
Yeah.
Steve O'Donnell is a massive short track fan.
That being said, on my night of my 100th win, I think it was when you guys, I've still got that picture. I should have brought it. Maybe I can give Devin to put it up. And you and Steve and me, all three signed it because it was there. They were there that night. That's
cool.
And I go back to my phone a couple hours later, and it's from a text from Steve O'Donnell. Said, here's my view of your win tonight. And I guess you guys were on the steps waiting to come down, and he sends me a picture of it.
That's
Well,
cool.
we're sitting there. It's like a couple laps to go, and I hit him on the shoulder. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be his 100th, and he's like, wow, really, his 100th? I'm like, yeah. And by the way, that race that we were at was the beginning of the quadruple, because we did, it's the triple. Sorry, we did Bowman Gray, and then we were on a plane at 7 a.m. the next morning to go to Indianapolis for the 500, and then on a plane to come back for the Coke 600, where Steve O'Donnell did driver meeting remarks. Like it was a hellacious 24 hours that you kicked off.
Yeah,
but I'm
heck
like, he's gonna win his 100th. I mean, should we go? He's like, oh, I think we should go down there. I'm like, all right. And he doesn't know to get down there is a bit of a
It's a challenge.
It's a bit of a
It can
challenge.
be.
It can be. So we're waiting and rolling off. And I'm like, do not throw a caution. Do not throw a caution. We got to get out of here. We got to go home, get in bed, get 5 hours of sleep, and get the hell back. So yeah, that was a fun night.
That's cool. But to your point,
he cares.
He was excited, man. He was generally excited. He said, I'm glad I got to be here for this.
I drug him to Thompson on a Wednesday night for a modified show. Stands were packed. He and I are sitting right in the grandstands, just sitting in the bleachers. People are coming up, taking photos with president of NASCAR's here, I mean, he loves it. I mean, this is where he came from. This is the beginning of what he did, and he cares a lot about it. And so does, listen, Jim France got a lot of things going on. Mike Helton got a lot of things going on. They asked me about Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
They asked me about the modified tour.
Yeah.
They asked me about this stuff. They don't I don't want any
When I
other
run into
things.
Jim, we tell stories about my grandpa.
Yeah.
And the number 4, and it was his favorite number and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's cool to know that people care. It's
Yeah.
not just a business. I mean, it is, but it's personal.
Well,
I
I-
hadn't forgotten where it came
personal
from.
too. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes it feels that way. So
Well-
when you get stories and you talk to people and you get the behind the scenes,
NASCAR's
it makes you feel
only,
better about everything that's going on, I guess.
Name another professional sports organization that is as rooted in its history and
there's-
is always like working towards preserving the
Right.
history, but still including history moving forward. That, you know, NBA, NFL, NHL. I mean, none of them do.
Well, and
None of them
I've
do.
said this too about the stadium, about all the changes and everything. That just tells me the passion you have for the longevity of the place. You're not going to do all that stuff and then it shut down in 5 years.
Yeah.
So that tells me that it's alive and well. So
Well, now that we got soft walls and there's rumors
I
of
told
all
you they're
this
not
other
soft.
stuff,
Call them something else.
I mean, once we got all this stuff now, you never know what we can bring there, right? We
Never
can bring
know.
anything you
You just
want.
never know.
And sitting on these schedule calls, Ben Kennedy has done a phenomenal job building a schedule that, to your point, like we're not going to go to the same places over and over again. Let's try some new stuff. Like, well, all right. Now that we got another track in the repertoire, like what can we pull off here? What can we do?
I just really like to run with your brung at the Clash. I just do. Just throwing that out there. I'm just nobody. I'm just a fan.
I'm gonna put you on a podcast with Tommy Baldwin. I'll let you guys debate this. It'll be fun.
That'd be
man.
fun. Yeah,
That'd be good.
I love Tommy Baldwin. I think he's hilarious. I've never met him, but he's one of those guys.
What you see is what you get. I promise you that.
I mean, I would love to kind of poke the bear a little bit and get him riled up because I wasn't that far from him at South Boston.
Oh, yeah,
I
when
was
he
at South
got-
Boston
yeah,
when he lost
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And as soon as that hat got knocked sideways, I was like, this dude's getting ready to swing
Yeah,
on
this is what
somebody,
I'm
and I
talking
can't
about.
wait.
This is the community I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the wildest collection of human beings that exist
Yeah.
is in
you're
motorsports.
right. You're right.
That's the beauty
You're
of
right.
it. That's why we're here.
Yeah. It's
Well,
fun.
we'll be happy to discuss that at length.
No problem.
But until then, well, I look forward to your email about all the new stuff that you're going to let us break on this podcast about the Clash. I look forward to that. But we do appreciate you being here. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully, maybe we can get you back before too long. Maybe post Clash.
Yeah.
Talk about it. But anything else I missed?
I don't think so.
Any
Make
news
sure
you
you
want?
plug the.
Any news
the-
you want to break or any plans? Just
No, I don't think
working.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, just getting it done. Don't forget the
Yeah.
racefangear.com.
Well, I want to thank
all your
Citrusafe.
housekeeping.
Yeah, Citrusafe for providing us this awesome studio where you can have good guests come in. RaceFanGear.com. You can get all of the Burt, the Slate, the who else? George Phillips, Citrusafe.
Citrusafe.
I believe there's some sales going on right now, Tommy. No, not yet. Diecast cars are on there. Everything that you can want. The stickers. I saw so many Citrusafe racing stickers on coolers at North Wilkesboro.
Oh,
by
did
the
you?
way, yes,
Cool.
a whole lot of them.
I bet I signed more than a dozen diecast cars.
Yeah. Well,
that
it's
was
like
cool.
I've said, those things are
That was
awesome.
cool.
Awesome. But
And you know what's else cool? I got to say this. I've gotten probably 24 texts from people or messages on Facebook where it's the screenshot of Daytona and it's the rundown and it says Burt Myers number 50 and it's the driver getting out like this. And it says, I just won Daytona with Burt Myers.
Yeah.
So that stuff's pretty cool.
Are you
too.
on NASCAR 25?
I'm on the video game. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm on the
man.
video game.
We'll have to connect.
I'm on the video game.
No. I'm saying I know that you're.
Like, I don't know.
You
I
haven't
don't go-
played it.
No, I haven't played
Oh, okay,
it. I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
played
yeah.
it. I haven't played it.
I'm halfway through. No, I just started my third season. The Xfinity cars are tough to handle.
Are
I
they?
mean, they're
I
a
won't ask
damn
you
handful.
what driver you picked. I won't ask
Well,
you.
you have your own. I'm on
so,
career mode.
So it's Joey.
Yeah, it's career
Oh,
mode.
okay.
Yeah. I'll send you the
All
screenshots.
right.
And what's been fun is after the race, there's tweets about you from people that are in the industry, including other race car drivers.
okay, that's
so
cool.
there's drivers that I've had to like sit down in the hauler before in ARCA, and then I get a mean tweet from them, and I rip it off to them like, well, "Don't you talk smack about me?" Obviously, they have no idea what this is, right? Like it's all computer generated, but it is so fun, and I'm really proud of Nick Rend and the productions team on NASCAR 25 because it is so realistic in terms of like the details, like where we come out in the garage area and all the different teams and the drivers, and afterwards, if you rough somebody up, I mean, Isabella Robusto is going to tell you about it.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's cool, man.
So
that is
I'm
cool.
just my generation. I guess maybe I'm a little older. I just come a long way from Frogger on Atari. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, you got the real thing. For those of us,
Yeah,
the rest
right.
of us, we gotta play video games.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you know, who knows? This is the time of the year where new stuff happens, news kind of breaks. Who knows what will happen? Don't know what we have going on next week. We might take a break next week. Not sure.
Yeah.
But I think we've still got some good.
We'll see. There's some stuff in the blender.
Yeah.
Just we got to
Sitting between y'all two is like it's drives me crazy. Y'all are the most. You won't commit to anything. But whatever, that's fine.
There's no ink on the
That's
paper yet.
That's racing guys.
Until there's ink on the
That's racing
paper,
guys,
why would
but
you speculate? You know what I mean? So
I'm
anyway,
just going to
it's
sit
been
here and
fun,
blindly
man.
throw darts, I guess. But as always, we appreciate you watching. Please make sure and give us a like, thumbs up. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Facebook. Devin, what did I miss?
That's it.
Please let us know where you're watching from. And if you have questions, please send them. Bert sees every single one of them. Some of them are a little bit more humorous than others. But we do make sure that he sees all of them. So
I'm going to send in some questions.
Yeah.
send them. Send them from, you've got to have a fake Facebook account.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I've got like 3 of them.
That's what the Madhouse is about right there. Fake Facebook.
The trolls.
Yeah. No fake Facebook. I face it all. I love it all. I will take any debate all day long. You've been madder than hell at me, and I've been loving to have the conversation. Right. So yeah, I embrace it because we're all just race fans. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
That comes with a job, right?
Come on, use your real Facebook account. Don't.
I do for the most part, but when I was in law enforcement, I had to have a couple of fake ones. No, I mean, I did because I would follow certain drug dealers, and I would follow like some of my habitual drunks, and they would just get on Facebook and broadcast live as they're drunk at the bar. And I would just go sit outside and wait for them to leave. And
I'm gonna flip this podcast back the other way and ask you a bunch of questions. That sounds like more fun.
It's coming.
You ought to do a ride along. I did some ride-alongs with him. That was fun.
That'd be awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, well, off air, I can tell some better stories. But anyway,
all right, it's been fun.
This was about Joey Dennewitz, and thank you again for coming. We enjoyed it.
Cool, man.
Let us know where you're watching from. Give us a thumbs up, and we will see you next time.